again, something that we feel very important both at Estelle and Gleneagles is this thing about giving time back. I think when we talk about luxury, anyone can buy anything these days, but time is so important, and encouraging people to take time or go for a walk or go to the bathhouse where they just sort of slow down, that we believe strongly in.
Welcome to the Luxury Travel Innovators podcast. I'm your host, Adam Deflorian, founder and CEO of ACDS. Let's take off. Today I'm joined by Conor O'Leary, Group Managing Director of Gleneagles and Estelle Manor. Conor, thank you so much for joining me on Luxury Travel Innovators.
Not at all. Thanks for having me. Delighted to be here.
Oh, welcome. Can you tell our listeners a little bit more about Gleneagles and its storied history?
Sure. Gleneagles is a beautiful country hotel in Scotland. It's 101 years old. We had our centenary last year. 1924 it opened. It opened as a hotel. It was built by the railway companies that were taking people away from London and on their holidays. We call it the Glorious Playground. It's a hotel, but it's all about the adventures and the pursuits that you can do there. So it's always been golf we're famous for. We have 3 championship courses, shooting, fishing, dancing, dining, eating. It's just a social playground. So it's been around, as I say, for 100 years and lots of key events during that time. We hosted the Ryder Cup, we hosted the G8 Summit. And then in 2015, our current owners, Sharon and Aisha Pastrika, bought Gleneagles and fully restored it to sort of an ultimate luxury destination. So we've been through a full refurbishment. We've added lots of activities and adventures, and it's really probably the best it's ever been since that opening in 1924.
Now, is that why you taught me something because I was at Gleneagles this summer? Is that why you have a train stop? Is because
exactly right.
Of what you just mentioned?
Yeah. So the train companies back in sort of the early 1900s were how people travelled. So people would come out from London and the train would take you, and then the train company decided they needed to build destinations to bring people to. So they identified this beautiful piece of land in Perthshire and built. They hired the sort of most famous golf architect of the time, and they built Gleneagles in actually a sort of French style building. And when it opened, it was called the Palace in the Glen, the Riviera and Highland. It was a sort of an iconic opening for a hotel destination, yeah.
Now, what would you say is first the most common access to the property? Most guests are flying into Edinburgh?
Flying into Edinburgh.
Okay,
yeah,
but you do have plenty of folks, especially if you're adding to London, you can take the train.
100%. So a lot of our UK customers will take the train, but also a lot of our international customers will stay in London for a few days and then take the train up to Gleneagles. Okay. It's a direct route from King's Cross to Gleneagles Station, which is 1 minute from our door. Okay. And there's also a sleeper train, which some people take, which is quite popular. So you can take a train up to us or down from us to London and sleep overnight. And you arrive into King's Cross at 7 in the morning, I think, having left us at 11 at night.
Oh, that's a really nice experience, actually.
Yeah.
Very cool. And in regards to, talk to us a little bit about the activities. I mean, I know you have everything, and tell us a little bit about some of the most popular.
So we call it the Glorious Playground. We know that people are coming ultimately to have adventures, to do things, do our pursuits. So golf is the obvious one. Yep. We also have shooting, fishing. We have our falconry, which is really popular. We have some gun dogs. We just launched our sporting club, which is our paddle courts, tennis courts, climbing wall, and horse riding, all in its own sort of purpose-built sporting club. We have a spa, a beautiful spa. People love going walking. It's the oddest thing, maybe not odd, but a really popular pursuit is just going walking in the hills. And we have guides that take you. We'll have a little picnic in a rucksack or in a bag, and we'll just walk. And families love doing that together because it's 2 hours that you just talk and walk and listen and look, and the nature there is stunning. So, plus much more. So many. We're about 50 or 60. You can go climbing. We have archery. We have clay pigeon shooting. Fishing is very popular, axe throwing, ropes, and all sorts of things.
Now, and then you also have the townhouse, Gleneagles Townhouse. Tell us a little about that.
Gleneagles Townhouse in Edinburgh. It's a little newer. It's 3 years old now. We opened it in 2022, in June. It's a beautiful property. It's an old bank. It was built originally as a bank in Edinburgh, and so the beautiful banking hall is our main restaurant, the Spence. 33 rooms. We also have a private members club within the building. So Edinburgh folk take membership there and use it for working, socialising and wellness downstairs. And I think the nice thing there is when you stay there, you really feel you're tapping into an Edinburgh community. It's as I said, there's not many rooms, but the place is busy with Edinburgh folks. You really feel immediately as though you're getting into the city.
Now, would you say for guests coming from afar, whether they come from the States or Australia or Asia, would you suggest, a stay at the townhouse first or after your stay at Gleneagles, combining them?
Yeah, definitely. And we obviously can coordinate all of that. And Edinburgh is a beautiful city. We're right in the centre of Edinburgh. People literally drop bags and go for a walk. They go up to the castle. Edinburgh is a gorgeous city. It's a sort of international city, but it's compact. You can walk it all in an afternoon. Beautiful architecture. So people come do that, and then we'll pick them up and we'll drive them out to Perthshire, which is about an hour's drive from the hotel.
And what would you say the ideal number of nights would be at each?
One or two in Edinburgh, and then 3 at Gleneagles minimum, 3 or 4, just to settle. People should be relaxed and enjoy the experience at Gleneagles, and then we've got 8 restaurants and bars, we've got 50 activities, so to really kind of get into it and decompress a little bit and enjoy the nature and the outdoors, it's probably a 3 or 4 day stay.
Tell us a little bit about that beautiful Scottish breakfast spread that you have.
Yeah,
that was quite epic, I thought.
It's hopefully one of our signatures. We truly believe in the importance of breakfast, and it's something special. So we have the main restaurant is the Strathern, and off it we have our scullery, which is this large scullery kitchen room where we have chefs making omelettes and cooking bacon and sausages. We have some haggis. We have porridge, Scottish porridge with a little bit of whiskey to finish it off, but all sorts of smoked salmon, everything you could ever want. It's an epic breakfast, and people, once you know, and people allow time for breakfast each morning and really enjoy it.
Out of curiosity, I know yours is, quite something, but is this a Scottish tradition in general? Do Scots have big breakfasts typically?
Yeah, I think so, to set you up for the day and start the day properly. And again, people are going to be going outdoors, they're going to be doing pursuits, they need a bit of fuel in them to start the day. So
you fuel up. It's a great gas station.
Correct. And hopefully it keeps you going. And then just need a little snack in the afternoon before dinner in restaurants in the evening.
Exactly. Tell us a little bit about the other restaurants for the evening and kind of, it's a very diverse, extraordinary culinary scene, I think, and you obviously have a very strong Michelin-rated restaurant as well, right? Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the dining.
So we've got everything from a sort of craft gin, beer, local pub down at our golf course, through to a 2 Michelin star restaurant, Restaurant Andrew Fairley, and everything in between. Again, if people are there 3 or 4 nights, we want them to have different experiences each night. So, as I say, a 2 Michelin star restaurant you can do one night. We have our Burnham Brasserie, which is a New York Italian restaurant, sort of strong flavors, great pastas, great grilled steaks and fish. The Strathern is a very glamorous restaurant. It's our big theatrical restaurant where we have live music every night. We have we're famous for carving smoked salmon at the table, or flambeing your dessert, or carving roast beef off a trolley. So it's a very sophisticated way to dine, a bit, old school glamour.
The candy cart was a highlight for my children.
We've got a candy cart that comes around at the end. It's just one of those restaurants where you can't rush it. You have to, and something special for me about Gleneagles is kind of forcing people to take their time. We don't force it, but we encourage them to take their time. And the Strathern is one of those restaurants where you sit back and let us look after you and just enjoy the theatre and the show. It's a special experience. The American bar is our cocktail bar. It's an Art Deco cocktail bar, which actually the hotel lost sort of for 20, 30, 40 years. We reinstated it, and we have this beautiful glamorous bar that you can get dressed up in, have a cocktail before dinner, and then go through to either Strathern or the Andrew Fairley.
Yeah, very good. It's very interesting, too, because it's the type of property where when you mention Gleneagles to anybody, and I think this is something you guys should be so proud of, is... it's the type of place for multi-generational travel, for couples, for young families, and it's everybody that I spoke to that their children have grown up, and they go, annually, and it's the type of trip that even once the kids are gone, moved out of the house, when they say they're going to Gleneagles, they still want to come. It's the one trip, so it's pretty amazing.
And I think, it's lovely to hear that, but it is something that we consciously try to think about, because I think we've all seen families that stop going to a destination because the kids grow a little bit older, and maybe the young facilities were great, but there's not much for 10, 11, 12, or maybe once they're past 10, 11, 12, the teenagers get a bit bored. We're very conscious that we need to be something for all those generations, and we see that. We see kids coming back year after year. We see them growing up.
Yeah,
we see them, and as you say, once they leave home, they still want to join the parents on a future trip. So it's purposeful for us.
Yeah, and then tell us a little bit about before I get into your personal background about your staff, your team, because it seems like they may come with the building. I mean, some of the folks that I spoke to have been there a very long time. So
we've got 1,500 team members,
okay.
And half of them, I would say, are Scottish.
Okay.
The rest choose to live there or have been living in Scotland for a while. I think we get a little extra bounce of pride from that. I think people are very proud of Gleneagles. If you're from the area or if you're from Scotland, you want to talk about Gleneagles. So we benefit from that. I do a long service lunch every year for team members. And this year I sat next to two colleagues who've been working there 40 years.
Okay.
And at my table, there's 40 years, 30 years, 30, 25.
Wow.
So we've got great tenure. We're really driving retention as well. So we're making sure that people want to stay and we can develop people and we can give them all the extra things that they need from a job to be able to see a future and to see longevity there. So it's something, again, we focused on. But we're blessed that people have chosen to be there. We've only sort of the current custodians, Sharon and Aisha and myself working for them. It's only 10 years, so half the team have been there a lot longer than we have.
I mean, that's 4 decades, 40 years.
Yeah, it's incredible.
That's incredible.
And it's a nice mix. We have lots of new team members that balance out. So you have these stories and this recognition. A lot of our guests are repeat guests. We're lucky that people come back year after year. And part of it is the team that they want to come back and see and talk to.
Tell us about the gentleman in the front that wear the kilts. What is that? Is it tartan? Is it a Gleneagles?
Gleneagles tartan.
Uh-huh.
That's our linkmen. So
Okay.
they're the first face you see and welcome, and they're brilliant at what they do. And
Yeah.
I was just with another hotelier, a Michelin star chef, and he was staying at the weekend for the first time with a friend, and he said. And he likes smoking, so he was going out the door every so often to go and have a cigarette. And he built up this rapport with our linkmen, and he said they're incredible. They're just every day full of charm, full of welcome, full of warmth. So that's your first impression of Gleneagles. So it's important.
Now, is that tartan? Was it from when did you create it?
We created it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's a more recent.
Correct.
It's not 100 years old.
No,
Okay.
relatively recent.
That's amazing because your team was telling me a lot about it. How you have you have families, right? And you have a family tartan, and you
That's right.
have that's kind of how it works.
Yeah, typically. So yeah, exactly. Every Scottish family clan had a tartan.
Clan, yeah.
So we created our own one for the Gleneagles hotels. We're 100 years old, obviously, but we felt we needed one, and we were using it for kilts. We've got a tweed of the similar shades, and so we have sort of flat caps and scarves and things as well.
That's fantastic. So tell us a little bit about your own background and what brought you to Gleneagles, what you were doing before, what got you into travel. I love to hear the stories about, nobody ever leaves travel because it's such a wonderful industry to be in once you experience it. But what got you into it?
I grew up in Stratford-on-Avon. Stratford-on-Avon is Shakespeare's hometown and a very tourist town. So when you're 16 and you want a weekend job, it's going to be in a bar, restaurant, or a hotel.
All right.
So I did lots of those jobs in weekends and summer holidays and things, and liked it. It didn't, register as a career until I sort of almost stumbled into it as such, because I finished school and there was discussion about university or what should I do, and I decided to work in the hotel for a little while to earn some money and think about what I wanted to do. And eventually I said, I really like this. So if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it in my head properly. So I applied. It's funny how things change, but I got the AA guide, the big book of hotels, and I looked up nice hotels in London and sent letters. And I sent, 10, 12 letters to hotels in London. Huh? And in those days, you probably got 4 replies. And out of the 4 replies, 2 interviews. And I went down and interviewed in London and got offered a job in a nice hotel in Kensington. And that was it. I started working and stayed in London for 15 years, working for a variety of hotels and brands. And latterly there was Hyatt. So I was working with Hyatt in London. We opened the Andaz in London, and then I joined the Hyatt Regency. We were keen to move. I got married in London, and like many people, met my wife in work in the industry. So she was in the events business. Uh-huh. And we were keen to go traveling. And we were keen to go to Asia, but there was an opportunity in Dubai. So we took that and moved to the Grand Hyatt Dubai.
What year was that?
That was 2014.
Okay.
And we spent 3 years in Dubai, and we were keen to keep moving. And then I got a call from someone asking would I talk to Gleneagles. And Gleneagles, we've all heard about it. But I said, flattering as a we to have the conversation, it was just a conversation at the time. We weren't intent to come back to the UK. We felt we moved. And something, 6 months later and working on various moves, I remember one fell through. And we were hoping to move to a hotel in a city, and it fell through sort of after lots of chat. And the following day, the same person rang and said, "Oh, out of interest, would you be interested to chat to Gleneagles?"
This is 6 months later.
6 months later.
Okay.
And I said, "Do you know what? I would like to chat. Why not?" I then learned about the new ownership had taken over, the ambitions, the intent. They'd already started sort of showing clear intent of renovation and investment and the excitement of that journey. So I had a variety of conversations, came over and met the team, and then, I said to my wife, should we do it? And we left 40 degrees of heat and got to Scotland in November, and it was 4 degrees, I remember.
Yeah.
And it was pitch dark. I remember driving, you left Dubai and you were driving on these big highways, sort of 6-lane highways. And then we got to Scotland and we were driving along a country lane with the rain and the puddles and the dark and things. It was just such a contrast. But that was 9 years ago this November. We've been
And happy to be back in the United Kingdom. Yeah.
Yeah, really happy. I hadn't lived in Scotland. It's a beautiful place, particularly Perthshire, where Gleneagles is. We live very close to the hotel. Very happy to be back. Very happy to work for owners that are continually not only investing in the team and the product, but challenging the team and the product to keep growing. And what can we do? How can it be more creative, more fun, more interesting? So it's nice to have an ownership that have that intention, and they're lovely people. They really care for the team. So it's been a great journey.
I love it. Yeah. So when was it renovated?
We did it over 5 years.
Okay.
From 2016 to 2021, we got caught up with COVID, so we finished the last pieces during COVID.
Okay.
And then we did our sporting club last year, and that was it. And actually now we're looking again at the bedrooms. So it shows the cycle of a hotel room that, sort of 2016, 17, 18, 19, we did bedrooms in 4 stages. And we're back into those bedrooms again, giving them a lift and a sort of soft refurbishment.
Nice. So then tell us a little bit about Estelle Manor.
Estelle Manor
how that came to be.
Much newer. Much newer. It's 2 years old. Estelle is a community, so we have Maison Estelle in London, which is a private members club.
Was that first before?
That was first. Yeah, that was first. That's 4 years old now, and it landed really well. It's a beautiful space, Maison Estelle, and we sort of cultured and created this community. So we were very careful with membership that we had a good mix of people coming in. We didn't want a certain profile or not a certain profile. It was key that we had a mix of people bringing different sort of inputs, and everyone should want to be part of that community. That was the intention. Sharan then found this gorgeous property in the Cotswolds, about an hour and 15 minutes from London. It was a hotel in this lovely country estate, and he bought that. And came up with the idea of Estelle Manor, which was the country hotel for the city club as such. Mm-hmm. So same community, same ethos, same desire to socialise and meet people. It's very glamorous, it's very stylish.
Yeah.
It's got the most incredible Roman baths that we built from scratch, where you go on a thermal journey for 2.5 hours of warm, cold, sauna, ice cold, steam. Wow. Yeah, it's really good. And everyone thinks, 2.5 hours, would I do that? And then you get into it and you come out and you think 2.5 hours, I didn't look at my phone. I might have chatted to my partner or my friend, but it's just, again, something that we feel very important, both at Estelle and Gleneagles, is this thing about giving time back. I think when we talk about luxury, anyone can buy anything these days, but time is so important. And encouraging people to take time or go for a walk or go to the bathhouse where they just sort of slow down, that we believe strongly in.
You can't buy more time.
You can't, and to be encouraged, coerced into just slowing down a little bit, or walking with the family, or spending time with your friends in the baths where you're sitting in your shorts, you're sitting in the baths, and no one's looking at their phone, and you talk, or you just relax, or you just do nothing. I think it's quite a powerful time to be with oneself. So yes, that was Estelle Manor. 4 great restaurants, really, really good restaurants. We've got a great Japanese, a Chinese restaurant, a brasserie, and a sort of more relaxed glass house. A few outdoor adventures. We take people fishing on Blenheim Palace Lake. We're the only people that are allowed to fish on there. We have picnics there. So it's just Cotswold is a beautiful area. Have you been?
I have.
Yeah, so it's just...
It's having a moment. It's very popular on social.
Very
and you
popular.
guys are sort of the hub of all of that. It feels like all the influencers and everybody else are coming to Estelle.
Yeah, which we need to balance. We want... it's an authentic product, and Instagram's brilliant until it's not Brilliant. So, the Cotswolds are really having a moment. And there's a reason why. It's a gorgeous place. It's very close to London. I was just talking to someone this morning about the ease of flying from New York, landing and going straight out to the Cotswolds. It's actually a really easy journey.
It's actually faster than flying to LA. I mean, if you catch the right wind,
Correct.
because you get it in under 6 hours on the flight, and then you're off.
And when you land at Heathrow, it's an hour into town or it's an hour to the Cotswolds.
Yeah.
So it's a very easy destination. It's where Gleneagles is about adventure and outdoors and sort of nature and so on. Estelle Manor, you do that during the day. The other thing we believe strongly is that people sort of love to feel they've earned dinner. So they do something during the day to then earn the cocktails at dinner, cocktails and dinner. But Estelle Manor is a very stylish, beautiful destination for that. So it's going really well.
That's fantastic. And as far as folks that know Gleneagles or have been coming to Gleneagles, regularly, how many of them, percentage-wise, would you say are now starting to explore Estelle?
Yeah, it's intentionally we didn't sort of push that. Estelle needed to find its own community and has. But by the very nature of I guess profiles in both, there's probably an overlap of 10%.
Oh, it's pretty small.
Yeah, it's there's overlap in concept, but significant differences in the ethos of both, purposefully. And as I say, lots and lots of multi-gen families at Gleneagles and people looking to do the outdoors adventures. Estelle Manor, probably more groups of friends, booking in, dining. We have houses which are 3, 4, 5 bedroom houses, and groups of couples love taking those and sort of hanging out together. So you see a lot of that audience coming. So a little overlap, but they've got their own audiences as well.
And Gleneagles has its own membership club as well, right?
Yeah, Gleneagles has golf membership and wellness membership.
Okay.
And there's a shooting club membership and horse riding, but they're a little bit smaller. But they're around pursuits. They're either around golf or they're around gym, swimming. The Estelle memberships, both in London and in the Cotswolds, are more about community and social scene, that sort of going out with other people. Less. I mean, Estelle has a super wellness facility, so a lot of the members use the gym and the classes and the bathhouse, but they also like the events and the curation of sort of a variety of different events during the month, and dining clubs and wine club and so on. So it's more about a community.
Got it. So a community, a social, more of a social membership versus a sort of a sport or purpose-built membership community up at Glen.
Yeah.
Interesting. So wintertime in Scotland, it's dark, it's cold, I would assume. What do people do at Glen?
Do you know the nicest thing is to go out for a walk? We've got our gun dogs, or my dog you can take if you want. Rolo, he'll go out with you. And you walk and you build up, you come back in and sit by a fire and have some lunch. Less golf, obviously, this time of year. We have spa. Paddle is hugely popular, so we put in beautiful 2.5 paddle courts. So anything that you can do indoors, although, as I say, you can get beautiful days, blue skies. It's cooler, I would admit that, and the days are shorter. So that it's not my wife's favourite time of year. She grew up in the beach in South Africa, and so for her, November through to February, where it's dark until 9:30 in the morning and then 3 in the afternoon, it can be a long winter. But equally, you can get nice, beautiful days and this beautiful fresh air. So people still try to get outdoors as much as they can. Yeah.
So your peak season for Gleneagles is summer, but you have you're building sort of that year round. I've been hearing a lot. I mean, at the breakfast we were at here at ILTM, right now, there's talking about shoulder season travel too. How seasonal properties are almost no longer only exclusively seasonal, right? I mean, whether it's you look at like Roccoforte and what they're doing in Villa Egea in Palermo, and you previously would not be going there in the winter, and now it's open year round. And you guys are starting to, there's plenty of guests coming in the winter, right? And fall.
I was asked, someone wanted to come and stay the next 2 weekends, and we're full, both of them at Gleneagles. There's lots to do. There genuinely is lots to do. And you're right. I mean, Gleneagles used to be June, July, August. Then it became May, June, July, August, September. And now our occupancy is busier in the summer, but it's much flatter as a curve across the whole year. Yeah. And again, that was intentional when we added more and more activities. It's to give more reasons to come, more things to do. And most of them are appropriate in the winter as much as they are in the summer.
Yeah, totally. Do you recommend guests get a vehicle, a rental vehicle?
No.
Don't need it.
No cars.
Okay.
No cars. Our favorite thing is when someone arrives, and if they have driven, they leave the keys with us and they don't need them again for 4 days.
That's great.
So yeah, we take care of everything.
Now, do you your Defenders, your Land Rovers. Tell us about that, both at Estelle and Glen.
The new ones, or that we've got vintage ones?
Both.
And
I want to hear
ones.
about both.
So we have, how many Defenders do we have at Gleneagles? Probably 20. Half of them are old original Defenders.
Yeah.
And we take those on. We take people out in them, but we also take them on the off-road driving course, which is up in the hills, up on the moors, and you go down and through rivers and up steep climbs and down on the side and this kind of thing. So people love that. And then we have a fleet of the new Defenders, and we use those to take people shooting and fishing and sort of moving around. So, and they're all logoed, discreetly with Gleneagles on. They look good. They're very fitting for the property. Down at Estelle Manor, we have less, but we have a couple of vintage Land Rovers that we take people out. We try not to take people too far in them because they're not the most comfortable ride. We also have a couple of Ineos Grenadiers as well that we bought.
You do have some Grenadiers.
Yeah,
nice.
People have strong views about Grenadiers. Some people love them, some people don't. So we wanted to compare. So we have a couple of those that we take people out and about.
As far as your own personal preference, what do you like? More.
I love the old Defenders. I mean, particularly the small one, the 90 wheelbase. The Grenadiers, I'm not completely sold on. If you're into your sort of gadgets and your switches and your buttons, the Grenadiers are brilliant. There's 50 buttons that you can change various things. But yeah, there's something for everyone.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about technology and sort of how, obviously we hear about AI all the time, right? But it not just AI, from a personalization perspective, from a singular guest profile perspective. I know, we've been doing a lot with you around that. I'm curious to hear what's your take on it. What's your take on?
So for us, we're in terms of what the guest should see and feel, it's very lo-fi. We want to be human. However, the ability for the tech behind the scenes to help us make that seamless and make it easy for the guest without them really realizing, for us to be more intuitive, to understand who they are and therefore what they need. Technology is helping us with that, but also importantly for me, it's helping our team spend more time with guests. So if the back office or the systems or some AI help is doing tasks that people might have been caught up doing, we don't see that as an efficiency opportunity. We see that as people can spend more time with customers.
Yeah.
So everything for us is around sort of that single profile, so that all our systems talk. We've been working with you and others to have the best platforms that our guests can use without realizing. But to do that, we need this singular profile. We need them to talk seamlessly to each other so that the guest is just easy to book a room, add a child in, get the golf booked, get the fishing booked, do the restaurants at the same time. And they can do that themselves in their own time, or we can do that for them. But it should be easy, quick, and accurate. And we're getting better at that.
In many ways, I think, simplicity is the ultimate form of luxury. And if you can provide that to the guest, right? Because at the end of the day, it's funny, you guys came to us with some very substantial requirements of what needed to be done, right? It's complicated, but the guest would never know that. All of the things that are happening on the back end, the guest shouldn't know about it. It should just be as seamless and flawless and simple. And that I totally agree. How about AI from an operations perspective? How do you see AI? I like to talk about that because I think a lot of people think of AI and they think of how it's going to be used for booking or marketing or things like that. And I don't think that's as interesting. I think that's more of a clearer path. I think what I find, when I'm speaking with hoteliers such as yourself is understanding operationally. What do you think? How do you think AI will help your team?
Exactly that. We're using it in some of our processes already. But where we see huge opportunity is things like rotoring, things like understanding when bedrooms become free, that housekeeping can go in and do them.
Yep.
Whilst we're attuned and alert to it, the more data and the more understanding we can have, the more efficient we can be with our team planning. There's an efficiency and a cost saving to that, but there's also the ability to get rooms back quicker, to get guests into the rooms sooner. Same with our restaurant planning. Our rotoring, we as I say, 1,500 employees. We have about 250 in food and beverage across the various restaurants and bars. The ability to really understand behaviors and predict and get help. We're doing the rotas the same way we've done rotas when I was working in restaurants 20 years ago. There will be better ways to do that and more efficient ways to do that. And again, that will also free up time. And instead of a restaurant manager sitting doing that, he'll be on the floor talking to guests. So there's plenty of opportunity.
Yeah, and it still doesn't prevent the human interaction, as you mentioned. Actually, it helps it.
Exactly.
It gets them out of the office and gets them on the restaurant floor or on the in the lobby, right?
Yeah. Everyone's got different views on AI and the guest impact. I don't ever see a day where someone arrives at Gleneagles and goes straight up to their room without interacting with our team. That's not the experience we want to create, and
wouldn't make any sense.
It wouldn't make any sense. But there's loads of tools that allow us to have better conversations when people arrive, or quicker conversations. We can get people into the room quicker, clean it quicker, and so on with those tools, allowing those interactions to be more meaningful.
Yeah, totally. I mean, you walk into the Gleneagles lobby too, you want to see the largest fish that was caught that day and all the things that you have. And that's a conversation point with the team, and they're explaining everything. How about the, you have so many experiences, yet like every, great experience to be had, right? It's often, it can be booked, right? Yeah. So it's important that guests that stay at Gleneagles take that into consideration and are booking that, when they, shortly after they book their stay, right?
Mm-hmm, exactly.
Just to have availability to actually participate in all these activities.
Correct.
Same with dining, I would assume. It's very similar. What do you think is the next? Yeah, I mean, you mentioned a refresh on the rooms, but it's you guys. I think are extraordinary at always innovating, always becoming better. What does the next 6 months, year, 3 years look like for Gleneagles and Estelle?
So, starting with Gleneagles, we need to keep creating because we want people to come back.
Yeah.
So we've got a high percentage of repeat guests, but we need to give them reasons to come back. Otherwise, what we don't ever want someone to say is, "Yeah, we did that last summer. Let's try somewhere else." Uh-huh. What we want them to say is, "We did it last summer. It was brilliant, and I saw that they now do this, that, or the other." So this year we're adding water-based activities, which we've never done before. So we've taken on this beautiful lock up in the hills above Gleneagles. And you can obviously fish. We'll be fly fishing off boats on there, but we'll be kayaking. We're putting a beautiful sauna, an igloo sauna, for up to 6 people. So you'll go in the sauna, then you'll go for a little dip in the in the lock, cool off, and then back in the sauna. We're going to be doing some sort of pop-up activations up there. Okay. We may put a lodge up there that you can stay in overnight, right? Sort of a wilderness lodge, just really getting away from it all.
Gleneagles glamping.
Correct. Right. Watch this space. We feel we need another restaurant. We don't have any Japanese or Chinese food on the estate. And again, if we want you to stay 3 or 4 days, if we want you to come back year after year, an extra cuisine would be beneficial. We're looking at some other accommodation models. We might put some houses on the estate that you could rent for a day, 2, 3, 4 days. And again, we see that very popular for our family audience, but also couples that like to sort of hang out together. Yeah. And we'll have a butler and we can send a chef down and do breakfast in the house and things. We may expand the footprint of Gleneagles into Scotland. We think it would be nice. Most people come to Scotland and they stop in Edinburgh, so we have our townhouse. They might come to us for 3 or 4 nights, but lots of people like to go up to Speyside, either where the whiskey is, or they might like to go walking and stalking, or they might go to an island like Skye. We were exploring sort of tentatively how we maybe have a say in that footprint, in that journey. So that could be a small hotel, it could be houses. Mm-hmm. We're still exploring that. So that's Gleneagles next couple of years. Okay. Estelle Manor is really embedding. So we're only 2 years old at Estelle Manor. So this community that's so important to us, we're doubling down on that. We're creating the community, really engaging, talking to our members, because we want the hotel guests, whether they're from the US or from the UK, joining that community as part of the Estelle experience. So the richer we can make that, the more contributors we can add to that. That's really where we're doubling down. The product's still new, the estate's new, so we rebuilt Estelle Manor and planted it. And when I was first going to 2 years ago, and even a year ago, you could see it was new. We need it to grow a little bit and soften, and those buildings just to soften in and the planting. So that's the next couple of years. It's not about growth, it's actually about embedding products.
That's amazing. Conor, thank you so much for joining me on Luxury Travel Innovators. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So I always end with 3 rapid-fire questions I'm interested to hear your take on. What personal travel are you most excited about next?
New York, February. I've got some. I'm going to some restaurants that I've wanted to go to for a while. So a good friend of mine is a chef, a culinary director in London. Mm-hmm. So we booked into Per Se one night, which I haven't wanted to. I met Thomas Keller in the summer, and he's said, "Come and try it." So we're going to go and try it. We've got a little tour with our friends that run Dante in New York. So that's a little sort of foodie weekend with a good friend. That's my next trip.
Be fun. That sounds great. And Per Se is never disappoints. So that would be great.
Yeah, it'll be one to go for a while.
the show's all about innovation, right? It's Luxury Travel Innovators, which is about moving forward, which is what we'll conclude with. But this question is about looking back in the past for a moment. What do you miss about the glamorous days of travel? You've been in the industry for a long time. I'm sure you have something.
Yeah, I think it's the challenge now, and our phones are our work, they're our life, they're our social story. I think the days of not having that. I'm currently watching Mad Men.
Yeah,
and I didn't watch it first time around, so I'm watching it now just when I'm on flights and things.
It's phenomenal, isn't it?
And that glamour of I like a martini.
A martini lunch, yeah, or multiple martini lunch.
So that would going back to a lunch where you didn't get disturbed, where you could leave the office a day. Not that I ever worked in that era or that industry, but that's and something we try at Gleneagles and Estelle Manor is just providing spaces that you can sit, relax, have a martini, try not to look at your phone, and just enjoy the surroundings.
Just being time, right?
Correct.
Everybody always says time is something that, like you mentioned, you can't buy more of it. And to be able to just enjoy it, to just spend time. Last question, moving forward, what innovation in travel doesn't exist today that you think should, and it doesn't have to be technology?
Do you know, I've been in a lot of hotels lately just because of some work travel. One switch to turn off your lights. Why none of us can get that right? Yeah. There's always a light that you can't turn off, and it's your minibar now, or it's your reading. So it's not that complex, but somewhere you can just say
you're so right. And then even the ones that do it really well, that have a good system, whether it's an automation system or a Control4 type system, there's always one lamp that somebody messed with, and then you have to get up out of bed and go turn that lamp off.
Correct.
100%. Thank you, Conor.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching this episode of Luxury Travel Innovators. Be sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss an episode. See you next time.